Battle Through the Heavens, Chapter 221. A mysterious Du Huang appears within the bone-chilling flame. The desert heat claws at his lungs as the hunters close the gap, their weight pressing like lead against his spine. A sudden frigid stillness snaps the horizon, turning the searing air to ash as white flames unravel the emerald serpent into nothingness. Within that frozen void, a figure wreathed in frost fire halts the world's breath.
The massive dark green energy serpent dissipated upon contact with the bone-white flames, melting away like snow and ice as it rapidly vanished. In a mere blink of an eye, the ferocious snake that had been howling across the horizon disappeared abruptly, leaving only a mournful cry echoing through the sky, until it too faded away. This sudden change caused everyone present to show expressions of shock. After a long moment, startled gazes hurriedly turned toward the sky to look at the figure. Under the azure sky, a figure stood suspended in the air. Bone-white flames rose continuously from his body, completely enveloping him within. Because the flames were so thick, it was difficult for outsiders to discern the figure or appearance of the person inside. Furthermore, because the terrifying temperature of the flames caused the surrounding air to warp and become distorted, it looked from a distance as if a different space had appeared, which was quite peculiar. Despite the considerable distance, the 5 Snake People Do Huang experts could still sense the frightening temperature emitted by the bone-white flames. They immediately swallowed their saliva and glanced at each other, a trace of unease surfacing in their hearts.
Who are you? Why do you interfere in the business of our Snake People tribe?
The sudden appearance of this figure, carrying such flames and possessing terrifying strength, caused the gray-robed old man's face to darken significantly. However, at a time like this, he did not dare to offend a mysterious powerhouse. After exchanging glances with his companions, he stepped forward and said in a deep voice,
"No reason. I just felt like it."
An old voice, neither fast nor slow, drifted out from within the white flames. The indifferent tone made the expressions of the gray-robed old man and his group even uglier. Standing not far behind the figure, Yunji stared at the person in front of her with some surprise. She frowned and pondered for a moment, but she still could not think of when the Jama Empire had gained a mysterious Do Huang-level powerhouse who could control white flames. Her beautiful eyes swept over the place where the bone-white flames rose, and Yunji's eyes suddenly became somewhat dazed. A moment later, a flash of shock passed through them. She felt that while the bone-white flames emitted a burning heat, they were also as cold as a block of 10,000-year-old ice. How could ice release flames? This thing was unexpectedly eerie.
Could it be a heavenly flame? Her eyes blinked as she recalled the peculiar nature of the flames in the world. Yunzi was startled, and amidst her shock, she felt a bit between laughter and tears. It was usually extremely difficult to encounter a heavenly flame, yet today she had actually encountered 2 types? Could this be considered luck?
This old gentleman, thank you for lending a hand, though these small fry did not pose too great a threat to me.
Shaking her head to cast aside the stray thoughts in her mind, a look of gratitude appeared on Yunzi's beautiful face as she spoke to the flaming figure.
Perhaps.
The flaming person said indifferently,
I do not enjoy meddling in others' business. If it were not for someone's request, I would not have wasted my time running all the way here.
Someone's request?
Hearing this, Yunji was stunned. Her eyebrows narrowed slightly as she asked,
Old gentleman, I wonder who invited you here to help me. Could it be Ji He?
Although Ji He's reputation in the Jiama Empire is not bad, he does not have the qualifications to ask for my help.
A hint of disdain appeared in the old laughter of the flaming person. Hearing the flaming person's total denial, Yunji was stunned once again, a trace of doubt appearing on her smiling face. In her knowledge, there were not many people with the ability to request a Dou Huang powerhouse to take action. Moreover, her actions in the desert this time were very secret, and very few people knew about them. Therefore, only Ji Yuha seemed like a likely candidate.
Stop thinking about it. Once we chase these guys away, I need to finish my work quickly.
The flaming person waved his hand and spoke calmly. He suddenly raised his head toward the 5 Dou Huang experts in the sky and smiled faintly, saying,
I have long heard that the Douqi techniques of the Snake People tribe are famous in the desert. Today, I actually want to give them a good try.
Gazing with sinister eyes at the flaming figure in the sky, the corners of the gray-robed old man's eyes twitched. With his experience, he found that he unexpectedly could not judge where the person before him had come from. Aside from a sense of disbelief, his mood gradually sank. Against one Dou Huang, they could still rely on merged Douqi techniques to resist for a while. But if there were 2 Dou Huangs, dealing with the 5 of them would be as easy as killing chickens. He understood very clearly how powerful 2 Dou Huang experts were, and naturally knew the obvious gap between the 2 sides.
Our Snake People tribe has no grievance with you, but the Snake People tribe will remember your actions today in our hearts.
Losing in strength did not mean losing the confrontation. Even though he was at a disadvantage, the gray-robed old man still gave a cold, cruel smile. Then he let out a sharp whistle and shouted,
Retreat!
Hearing the old man shout, the 4 Dou Huang experts around him hesitated for a moment, then glared at the flaming person with great resentment, before their hands simultaneously formed seals like lightning. After a low shout, the bodies of the 5 people exploded almost at the same time. While the sound of the explosions echoed through the sky, energy erupted instantly, and they then flew toward the 4 corners and 8 directions of the desert. Watching the gray-robed old man's group prepare to flee, Yunji's eyebrows knit slightly. Just as she wanted to move to stop them, the flaming person in front of her waved his hand slightly. Seeing the flaming person's gesture, Yunji could only stop her movements. With cold eyes watching the small snakes fleeing, a glimmer of silence appeared deep within the flaming person's eyes. His palms were suddenly raised, and the bone-white flames rapidly formed 5 sharp spikes. The 5 flame spikes rotated slowly. The flaming person looked coldly at the energy snakes hiding in the surroundings. His fierce spiritual power shot out from his body, striking the true forms of the 5 small snakes like lightning. He lowered his head with a cold laugh and immediately fired them. The 5 bone-white flame spikes were like 5 bolts of lightning, flying in 5 different directions. Although the bone-white flame spikes looked very small, they left 5 white trails in the sky as they flew through the air. The burning temperature covering them directly caused the surrounding air to evaporate into a patch of nothingness. Looking at the few flame spikes that seemed unremarkable yet created such a momentum, a look of surprise appeared on Yunji's smiling face. In her heart, she became even more curious about the flaming person's identity. The flame spikes streaked across the horizon like lightning, rushing directly into the energy serpents. Although most of the energy serpents were identical, the spikes seemed to have targets. Along the way, they burned some obstructing serpents into nothingness, then slammed fiercely toward the 5 small snakes on the outside. As if sensing the frightening attack coming, the 5 small snakes hurriedly turned their heads to look at the incoming flame spikes, a look of terror appearing in their triangular eyes.
Leaving a tiger to return to the mountains is not my style. If they are enemies, of course, no threat should be left behind.
Indifferently watching the 5 small snakes about to be hit by the flame spikes, the flaming person spoke softly. Behind him,
Yunji did not say anything as she watched his actions. She was no fool. She was perhaps even more ruthless than some. With her status and strength, she knew exactly when to be ruthless and when to be kind. In the sky, the 5 flame spikes created a sharp sound of breaking wind, fiercely shooting toward the 5 small snakes. However, just as they were about to hit them, a sudden change occurred. Just as the 5 small snakes were about to be heavily injured, the flaming person's body suddenly trembled violently, and a groan sounded from within the white flames. Upon hearing this groan, Yunji was startled and hurriedly said,
Old gentleman, are you all right?
Just as she finished speaking, her smiling expression suddenly changed because she sensed a powerful aura suddenly erupting from within the bone-white flames. This aura arrived extremely quickly, diffusing through the void like lightning and rapidly catching up to the 5 flame spikes. With a slight vibration, it unexpectedly turned the flame spikes into nothingness. Taking advantage of this, the 5 small snakes lunged into the sand dunes and disappeared miserably from the 2 people's sight.
Damned beast.
Seeing the 5 small snakes disappear, an angry voice immediately came from within the bone-white flames. As the angry sound died down, that frightening aura slowly settled. A moment later, the aura completely vanished, as if it had never appeared.
A failure at the final step.
Sighing and shaking his head, the flaming person fiercely patted his sleeve, as if scolding something. He turned around, glanced at Yunji, and then flew toward the desert. Suddenly, the flaming person paused for a moment and said,
That's right. That kid asked me to send an apology to you. Earlier, he seemed to have gone a bit too far.
Hearing this, Yunji's delicate body trembled. Her small rosy mouth opened slightly, and her beautiful face was filled with surprise. From the information revealed by the mysterious person, she could tell that the Huang powerhouse who had come to help her was actually invited by that kid Xiaoyan.
This little fellow, his ability is not small. I really did underestimate you before.
Turning her head to watch the figure gradually disappearing from her sight, Yunji murmured with some astonishment.